most of these sounds are going to be familiar to TH2 people. Okay. I should point out that, if you have TH2 and you open, let's say you install Sonar on a different computer, and it does not any longer install TH2, but you open up a project that had TH2 in it, TH3, well, Sonar will recognize that you're trying to use TH2, and having TH3, it will actually pull all the information from TH2 and make it identical in TH3. Wow. So that's pretty helpful. Let me just kind of demo a few of the sounds here. I'm going to try my best to remember how to play.
Cool. Yeah.
I think I remember liking this one a lot. So real nice, like kind of low gain sound. A lot of glass, a lot of ass when you really push it too. Sounds like the Beavis and Butthead theme. I'm gonna stop before I do some stop before some kind of copyright infringement here.
I'm sure Mike Judge won't mind.
I love you, Mike Judge, for what it's worth. Idiocracy was a great film. So one of the other really cool things that we can do here, I'm just gonna pull up my custom bank. Sure. So real quick, let me zoom out here so you can see what I have going on. So what we have is 2 amps. Maybe I should zoom in a little more. 2 amps, 2 cabs, and then both of those pushing into a delay unit. So what it's going to sound like ultimately is awesome. Let me then show you sort of how we would go about building this. It might not end up being the exact same thing when we're done, but let's just pick a different, like a totally empty patch here.
Let's start from scratch. I'm excited to see how this thing works in building and all that.
Cool. So we know that we're going to make a split signal, a parallel signal. This little button down here, what we do is we just drag it up.
Oh.
And we've got a splitter.
Oh, cool.
You can put this, it doesn't need to be at the beginning of your signal. You can put this anywhere. But for these purposes, what we're going to do is have the guitar run to the splitter and then to a couple of amps. So let's pick, I don't know, what's your favorite amp?
My favorite amp, out of these guys, I really love the Rock 900s. I remember that being
awesome.
Like a really
awesome,
sounding. I got a thing for Rage.
So we'll drop this in on the top half. So as of right now, what we have is a guitar going into the splitter, into this amp, and out to the mixer. And then on the other half, we have just a straight guitar signal.
Oh, I see.
So we'll do, and this is really, I think this has a matched cab. We'll drop in the 4x12 vintage. Which is, I think, like vintage 30s.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, let's see. I think this will be a good pair, a nice high gain amp. And we'll,
if I'm not mistaken, when you drop that cab onto the patch, does each cab load with its own specific, like, microphone patch in a way? Is that what's going on there?
It will load. Okay, so if I were to start from scratch here and just drop in an amp, it may or may not, depending on which one, and if you have the matched cab, it will prompt for, do you want to insert the matched cab for this also?
Right, but the microphones that are on that cab, are those like, do those change with which head you use?
No, by default, they all start up with the 414.
Oh, okay. So each cab starts off with, well, that's great. 414 is a rad microphone. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So again, super simple, just drag and drop. The cable will highlight where it's actually going in the signal flow.
Nice.
So right now what we have is guitar going evenly into 2 separate amps. But we're only hearing the top one, and I'll show you why. On the output, we have this slider in its default state, which is set to only output the top channel
that makes
here.
Sense.
So if we just put that right in the middle, now we're hearing both.
Wow. Yeah, you get... You get the it's interesting too that you pick two amps that have naturally two different types of circuits. You got the modern, which is a preamp based distortion, and then you have the Rock 900, which is modeled, I'm pretty sure, after power amp stage distortion. So you get the balls and the chunkiness of the preamp stage distortion at the bottom there, and then you have the kind of power amp stage distortion at the top there. That's really cool.
Yeah, really nice clarity and a little good mix of clarity and total destruction of your sound.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what the guys at Metallica used for the Black Album. They just used a mixture of both preamp and power amp distortion on that record, which is why like it's just like a ridiculous tone throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. I think enormous would be an understatement for that
one. It's true.